Hey, my name is Cameron Porter, and you're watching Muscle Mindset. In the last video I did, I talked about making silly promises that you don't keep and then losing trust with yourself. And I think in the same video, I said that I was planning on doing a video a day. And so it's kind of funny that I absolutely lived up to making a silly promise um, publicly for all of you to see. I don't think I'm going to do a video a day, at least not yet. I think that's a nice goal to work towards. So, just an FYI to all of you watching this right now, it's like this many people, and that's totally okay. Um, but I'm not planning on doing a video every day. Anyways, this video is inspired. I feel like they all ought to be. That's why I might not be doing one every day. So, what I want to talk about is three three specific rules that can kind of guide you, um, that will keep your mindset growing in the right direction. Before I get to those rules, I'm going to talk about something that uh, people with a bad mindset, and I mean bad in a very general way. I mean, let's call it an uncontrolled, an unmanaged, an untamed mindset. Let's say you've been, you're kind of just on autopilot and you're not sure what's going on in your thoughts. Uh, it's okay. I've been there before. I still find myself in that mode. It's just luckily my autopilot is much more positive than it used to be. Anyways, what happens in any given situation with a not so great mindset is people will have a tendency to give themselves all kinds of options. Like, I could freak out right now, I could get angry, I could start complaining to some friends, I could call my mom and cry about my situation. I could get depressed. I could go, get reclusive. I could have a panic attack. I could lash out. So sounds like a lot of crazy options, and they don't sound very positive, even as I'm saying them. But when you're on a negative autopilot, which let me give you some interesting stats. People, you and I, we replay our thoughts, like the same thoughts from the day before, pretty much 90% of them. And society as a whole, and I'm not sure exactly where this number comes from, but it's been shown that society as a whole are thinking 70% negative. So if you take 70% of society is playing 90% of their negative thoughts every day, they're attracting, negative reality. Now, I don't think there's any way that you could like prove those numbers or exactly where they came from. But the whole idea of this is to weed out all of that stuff, all of those negative thoughts, all of those crappy options for dealing with situations. It could be any situation. Take, you know, you get a flat car or your truck overheats, or let's say your air conditioner breaks down. Personal experience. um, and how you handle that situation is everything. And you might have 10,000 options right now. And that's a good sign of how much work you might have to do on your mindset. Because I'm going to give you the three options that you should always be looking to kind of guide yourself into a growth direction, a positive direction with your mindset. So if you eliminate all those crazy options like freaking out, complaining, telling your negative story over and over again, so you relive it and re you know reinforce that awful mindset and programming. Um, I mean, so many options, and they don't seem that positive. Once again, I know I said that. The three options I'm going to tell you about, they're pretty simple, and they are timeless. Okay, these are timeless. So option number one, and this is a formula. I'll paint it out for you. It's a real formula. So option number one, you can accept your situation. So this is a really good one, and I recommend just, you know, in almost any situation, this is a good option regardless of the other two that I'm going to give you. Acceptance is just, it's kind of cool what happens when you just accept, hey, this happened. Anyhow, option number two, you can change the situation, change the circumstance. Sometimes you can't do this. So we'll get to that. That's the formula, that the easy formula that happens because there's only three options. So option number three, you can exit or, walk away from the situation. So let's just say some people are gossiping, they're going on and on. All they have to say is stuff about other people. And usually, when you're just chatting about other people, uh, pay attention, make sure it's positive because it's probably not. But let's just say you walk into a situation and these people are just going off about maybe somebody you care about, and um, you have you have those three options to deal with. One, you could accept it. You could just accept it. But would you really want to stay there and be near that gossip? Two, you could maybe change the situation. It might not be that easy if some people are gossiping. There's a way you can redirect it. You could be like, but how about this positive thing about that person? And just like redirect the focus to a negative, I mean, to a positive from the negative. But that might not work. Maybe it turns into something you really didn't want to mess with. It just turns into a more negative thing. So maybe you want to weed out that option two in this case. Option three, you can just leave the situation. If it were me nowadays, I'm around some people that are just all I got to talk about is all the junk, then I am generally leaning towards option one and three. So I'm going to accept the situation. It's not in my control, not my vibration, not my circus, what have you. Then I'll also walk away. So this isn't always possible, and I understand that. That's why you have the three options. Um, your close friend dies. It's very sad. It's happened to me too many times in life. So you basically have one option there. But that's the beauty of this formula. You have three. You don't have all of these other ones that clog up your mindset and lead you astray and keep you wandering and floundering and wondering, how do I ever feel the way I want to feel? So these three options will help you with that. When someone close to you dies, for example, you kind of have the one option to accept it, and you just kind of eliminate you can't change that. You can't change that they're gone. Um, you can't walk away from it necessarily. So you got to accept it. It's a fail-safe, timeless set of principles, if you will, but three options all the time in life. I promise, if you start taking using these three options when you go into a situation, rather than any of those others that the the personality or ego, what have you, that's been programmed all your life wants to take. Like um, running away, it's not exactly what I mean when I say like you know remove yourself from a situation. Running away from like something that you're creating, it just isn't really possible. It'll continue to follow you. But you continue to remove yourself from situations that you don't want, then they won't show up so much anymore. And acceptance is just probably, like I said, the number one option of those three. But these three can help you eliminate all of the ones that don't help you grow, like the options of feeding into these negative situations and fueling them, and complaining, or the pity parties, what have you. Anyhow, I hope this helps. Um, Go ahead and share with somebody that might be in need of simplifying their life and keeping it down to three simple options instead of a whole bunch of um, crazy decisions that really don't help us. So like I said, lean towards acceptance. Once you accept things that you cannot change, it's much it's a lot of relief for one, and then it's empowering. It allows you to see what the actual path is that you want to take and make those changes. Have a good one. Doing this kind of late at night, so I'm gonna go to bed now. Thanks for watching.